Yo, what up? It's Benjamin D'Souza here, back with another classic. And I really want to talk about the mindset that I myself in particular, but what I think a lot of brothers out here should have in their approach to life. See, I approach, and I made this conscious decision some years back. I made a conscious decision that I was going to run my life like a Fortune 500 company. Any and every person that is in my life has a monetary value attached to them. Will they help put me in the black? Or will they put me in the red? Or does it matter either way? Is dealing with this person a net positive, a net negative, or neutral? It doesn't matter. I don't lose either way by dealing with this person. And I think that if more brothers had this mindset, it would cut the fat and really streamline for a more efficient life. And if the more efficient you are, obviously the more productive you can be. And this type of stratagem can be implemented with co-workers, platonic friends, family members, and also women. You gotta kind of think like a CEO. You know, you are the company, you are the commodity, you are the enterprise. You know? And it's not just surface level, you know, what you look like, or the gestures and mannerisms that you display, you know, the physical, outward, aesthetic appearance of your person. It's not just about that. It's not just about intellect, or, you know, how smart you perceive yourself to be, or others perceive you to be. But it's also spiritual, you know? And not to get too far off into the metaphysics, but the author Robert Greene said in the 33 strategies of war, he said, you know, life is like a war, and you have to forge the warrior spirit. You know, not every engagement out here on these battlefields of our day-to-day lives, it will be physical or mental, for that matter. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is spiritual. You know, as the saying goes, if looks could kill. You know, so you gotta guard your person in all aspects. You know, because you will come across people who just don't like you for whatever reason, and spiritually try to take a chunk out your ass. So you gotta forge the warrior spirit, if you will. Now, as far as family members are concerned, I believe I spoke about this on a prior video, but this was the movie The Devil's Double, which was kind of like, it was a movie about Saddam Hussein and his sons and the doubles that they had. You they would find people throughout Iraq who looked similar to them, and then give them plastic surgery to make them look exactly like them and whatnot. So, that might not have been Saddam Hussein that the United States executed years back. It might have been one of his doubles, Who knows? But anyway, Saddam Hussein's son was, a real degenerate. He was a real sexual degenerate. He was going around, philandering around the country, having his way with women, raping women, you know what I mean? Using just really bully and forceful tactics to coerce women to have sex with him. And it was becoming a problem because the people were starting to become upset. More and more of them, of the common people, were becoming upset. And Saddam Hussein, knowing that this could lead to a revolt, his son was in the hospital for something. I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched the movie. But his son was in the hospital right after doing some bullshit or whatever with this young girl or whatever. And Saddam Hussein grabbed a scalpel and grabbed his son's penis and was about to castrate his own son, because his son and his son's penis was about to threaten the very stability to the country in which he ruled. So just imagine how focused on a mission you have to be to cut your own son's penis off, or be willing to do so in order to maintain what you got. That's some powerful shit. But the doctor stopped him and was like, "No, don't do it. He'll bleed out." But Saddam Hussein was, boy, he was about to put that scalpel to that motherfucker, boy. And that's how we gotta be, man. Not necessarily, don't necessarily cut your penis off or go around cutting other people's penises off, but from a metaphorical sense, that's how you have to be. It's kind of like that quote out the Bible that Jesus said, if your eye offends you, pluck it out, If a family member offends you, cut them off. Cut them off. If they're bad for the bottom line, cut them off. And on my day-to-day, the way I approach life and the way I approach certain, interactions with people, in this case, women, I always approach it as, listen, I'm the company, I'm the hot commodity. It's not me proving myself to you necessarily, but it's you proving yourself to me. And I do this in a manner of, especially on my day-to-day when I'm doing business and whatnot, and I come across a chick that I have to conduct business with for whatever reason, I'm not gonna smile at her. I'm not gonna mean mug her and give her a scowl or nothing like that, or an attitude or anything like that. But I let her know, hey, I'm on business, and your feminine wiles are not first and foremost within this negotiation that we're doing. Your feminine wiles are completely off the table. The business is on the table. The business that we're conducting is the only thing that is on the table. And I found that, when I carry myself like this, in a lot of cases, not all, but in a lot of cases, most cases, the women will, in a sense, submit themselves to the authority that I project. And they will try to placate to me and try to appease me. They'll try to tell me jokes and they'll try to get me to smile, or they will soften their tone to, kind of bow their head a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I reward them by giving them a smile and or laughing at their joke, or opening up just a little bit on whatever question they may ask me, and revealing, just a little bit of information about myself. Like, for instance, earlier today, I'm at this receiver, right? And I tell the chick asked me for my name. I tell her my name, Benjamin, and I tell her my last name, D'Souza. She was like, "Oh, D'Souza, huh?" She was like, "What's that?" I said, "It's Portuguese." She was like, "Oh, Portuguese, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, my father's from a Caribbean country in South America." So, I kind of opened up a little bit, told her a little bit about myself. And then, I told her a funny story about how substitute teachers back in elementary and middle school used to butcher my name, and kids used to make fun of me for the rest of the day because the substitute teacher said my name wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's personal, because that's something that, that I experienced growing up, which isn't a big deal. Kids are going to be kids. But, I opened up a little bit to her because she was nice to me. You know what I mean? She was essentially trying to show herself approved to me. And this was a black woman. This is a young black female, dark skin, 4C hair. For all you colorist bitches out there. And also, to add to that, another book that Robert Greene produced called 48 Laws of Power. I believe one of the laws of power states, I believe it's like law 23, 26, if I'm not mistaken. He says, carry yourself as a king and you will be treated like one. Now, this takes intention, it takes time, it takes intention, and it takes mindfulness. Being just a snobby, stuck-up, smug prick isn't acting like royalty. No, you're just being a dickhead. You know what I mean? But it's like in the book of Proverbs, King Solomon says, thick, sure gaze, straight ahead. You got that thick, sure gaze. You look like you're focused on something. You look like you're about business. Your posture's good. You're making eye contact. You're putting some bass in your voice. You're speaking with authority. You're acting as if you are a king. And you will be treated as such. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of like if you've ever worked in corporate America at whatever facet. From time to time, the big wigs will come in, the regional managers and whatnot, who's ever above the regional manager, they would come to your specific location and just have a walkthrough and talk to the manager in charge of that particular franchise that you're working at or whatever. And you would see how they would carry themselves. As soon as they step in the building, the whole energy changes, Motherfuckers who usually slack, they put a little bit more pep in their step. because the big dogs are there, you know? You need to be mindful of cultivating that sort of presence about yourself, you know? Because at this same place that I was picking this load, I dropped it off. I dropped this load off. I was dropping this load off this morning. It's an older black gentleman. Might have been a baby boomer, a young baby boomer. Might have been like in his late 50s or whatever. But he was working security guard. He was a security guard. But he was just being too chummy with other drivers that were coming in and out, especially those of another race, another ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? Like he seen the young brother come here, and I heard him through the guard shack kind of make a little offhanded sideways joke about me and my serious persona. You know, trying to make it seem like I'm trying to be tough when in actuality I'm not trying to be tough. I'm just here on business. But you don't want to be the silly, always joking, always trying to tell jokes and crack jokes with motherfuckers that you're conducting business with, because they'll look at you weak. And he did this with this I want to say it was like a Middle Eastern guy, maybe a Persian guy he had to check the back of his truck, back of his trailer or whatever. And he was, you know, trying to be extra chummy with him and shit. And I looked at the Middle Eastern guy. I had my shades on. I was looking at him, and he kind of cracked a smile. And the smile he had on his face was like, yeah, this nigga right here is trying to gain my approval. He's trying to crack jokes and be chummy with me because he wants to gain my approval. Which is a sign of weakness, might I add. You know? But yeah, streamline, man. Streamline your life. Remember, people who come into your life, they are there to increase the net benefit in your life. If not, at the very least, they're there to at least not take away. But yeah, that's all I got.